Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Chapter Ones, the series in which I read multiple chapters, or multiple first chapters of different series, in order to determine which series I like, which series I might read on my own, which series I might read on the channel, and which series I'll just drop. So, you may have noticed the title of this was just Tsuiteru Kanojo. However, I am going to read multiple first chapters. I'm reading the first chapter of Tsuiteru Kanojo, Tsuiteru Kanojo, and Tsuiteru Kanojo. I know nothing about any of these apart from the tags. Like, I haven't looked at the descriptions at all. I have seen the tags, so I know they're all rom-coms to some degree. This one seems to have a bunch of other tags too. Uh, they all have content warnings, which is interesting. This one is just smut. These other two are both ecchi. Uh, as a brief explanation, I probably should say this. One of you, most likely, did recommend Suiteru Kanojo. I don't know which one it was, though. And rather than going through my comments trying to actually find the person who recommended this and then asking, like, hey, which one do you mean? I decided to just do all of them. I mean, realistically, I could, like, any of these would be fine. And I did say, like, very recently, I want to read more romance series and I want to read more, like, short series that I can kind of bang out, that I can just kind of do and get done. So all of these fit. Like, this one's, it's one volume. This one is 2 volumes. And then this one's a lot longer. It's actually 3 volumes, so it's not that bad, honestly. Like, none of them are that long, but that just makes it more difficult because I don't know which one would have been like the ideal recommendation. So we'll see. At the very end, in addition to like deciding which series I will read on the channel, which I won't, I'll also give a guess at which one do I think someone recommended. Anyways, let's start off with. Oh, by the way, I did notice Suiteru Kanojo means inspired sweetheart here, but in this one, it's lucky girl. Like, so I don't actually know what Tsuiteru Kanojo means. Like, I assume it's this, right? Like, and that's exactly the same as it is here. Yeah. And then over here, uh, actually, is it a bit different? The ending here is a bit different, but there's actually like a period there. And I guess the title also has a period, whereas these don't. Is it written exactly? I feel like it's not written exactly the same way. Anyways, let's jump right into this. Enough dilly dallying. This one actually does not start with chapter 1. It starts with chapter 0. Interesting. Oh boy, these are some small, like, because these are small, because the, like, scan group pages are small, it makes me feel like this was definitely done, like, a while ago. Back when this would have been a large size for the monitor that the average reader would be looking on. So hopefully the scans themselves are good. Can't really read anything, like, I mean, I can read this literally, but I mean, I'm not getting much of a vibe off of this apart from, like, this guy's clearly wearing a monk outfits, or, like a, that's not the term, right? Like a Shinto priest outfits? Is that what it is? Gonna be honest, I have a difficult time, like, separating Shinto stuff from Buddhist stuff in Japanese culture. Okay, so this is, like, it's the black suit, it's more typically a monk-like thing, and it looks like he's dead. So, maybe we're gonna do some like monk slash spiritual shenanigans. So this is interesting. So this first chapter, the one that was chapter 0 on MangaDex, is called "Poetic Justice's Love Circumstance," and then after that is Suiteru Kanojo, starting with scroll 1 up to scroll 4. So that's interesting. Like, that implies that this might just be a different story. This might not be Suiteru Kanojo. I guess we'll see. Like, what did they say? Like, what did this version say Suiteru Kanojo meant? Inspired sweethearts. Which really doesn't tell me anything about the story itself. We'll see. Like, once I'm done this, maybe I'll take a peek at this just to see, like, if this is like, if this is just the prologue slash the one shot, and then this might be the actual proper serialization, or if this is completely unrelated. Oh boy, I forgot about scan group watermarks. Oh boy, oh boy. At least the scan quality seems to be pretty good. Okay. I would lose consciousness for no reason. When I could think clearly again, my boyfriend is already beaten senseless. So it seems like when my assumption here, because I've seen this before, like not this, but this general concept, I'm assuming that like when she tries to do anything lewd, it like she freaks out, she beats up the other guy, and then she forgets about it. That's what I'm assuming. Hmm. Okay, Yukimi, 22 years old and still a virgin. I mean, I guess they mean, being cursed slash being haunted, that kind of thing. But I've never heard anyone call it soul block. That feels like a weird choice. So I guess that's why she's going to go to like the temple, I guess. Like the temple where she finds the guy that she falls in love with. There is something very cozy about this. Like I've seen so many series with just a bunch of girls hanging out talking about other people's marriages and who they want to marry. There's something so quintessential about it. Okay, okay. Well, that is definitely a choice. Like this isn't even that sexy, but like for a wedding, for a place where you're supposed to sit down, it's supposed to be formal. Like boy, oh boy, that's all cleavage. That might be a bit too much. Like, is that what you do when you try to find someone? Like, do you just dress more like do you just dress more revealingly? Is that a thing? Okay. Is this the guy or is this a different guy? Like, are we going to do a love triangle? Also, by the way, I do want to specify I understand that wearing something revealing or something tight fitting is sexy. I don't want people to think I'm a complete alien when it comes to sexuality. I understand that. I just meant like this specific cut feels really weird to me. Like it feels super over the top just because of the way it's cut, which I guess is the point. Okay. I mean, she has awful luck though, so how is this going to work out? Wait a minute. Purple suit with black shirt. Is he kidding? And yellow tie. See, now that they mentioned that, uh he doesn't feel weird to me in my head, but that's because I'm not thinking of him as a normal guy. I'm thinking of him as a manga character. Like when I think of Yoshikage Kira, for instance, from JoJo's, I don't think of him as dressing weirdly. I just think like, oh yeah, that's his normal outfit. That's a design. But I guess realistically, if we're supposed to look at this like a normal, group of human beings, then that is real weird, especially for a wedding. What do you like to eat? Do you live here? What are your measurements? Oh boy, he's really coming on a bit too fast. I mean, honestly, even if I guess even in like the US and Canada, the immediate assumption when you see someone wearing like bright yellow, the first two things that come to mind are the Joker from Batman and a pimp. But realistically, if I saw someone on street dressed like this, would I really think that? I guess I would just think they're very strange. I don't know if I'd think they were actually like connected to organized crime. Hmm? Do you want to be a Bomori? Uh, oh, and she even said it as Homori. I don't know if that's like a translation error or I guess she might just be like mishearing it, but I have no idea what that means. So my immediate assumption is he is probably the monk that we're going to see eventually, like the love interest, the person we saw at the start in the color page and whatnot. But I don't quite understand how this is all going to tie together yet. Like we've got her lack of luck, which could be part of a curse, could be just a physical thing, and then like how do you get around that? It might be as simple as she feels calm around him. Like she didn't realize that he looked real weird until a while after they had actually been hanging out. So maybe. But then again, do you want to be a Bomori? Like if that's just an outright supernatural thing, then we could be going for more of a like outright supernatural thing with the series, which is perfectly possible. Like I didn't consider that because I was thinking of it as oh, it's a realistic romance. But nothing about this has said it's a realistic romance. I don't know where I got that from. Hmm. And she just so happens to have an ad for an exorcist in her bag. He must have done that then. Maybe he's like, it seems like he was super into her for some reason. So maybe he slipped it in. Because, I mean, it's either that or it could just be some other guy who is the monk guy we saw at the start. In which case, I don't know what we would do. Like, I assume it would just have to be a love triangle then. Boy, oh boy. I mean, to be fair though, like I know there is that whole thing in Japan about if you have a tattoo, you're probably yakuza. But this is especially like it's a religious tattoo. Like whereas the yakuza like from what I understand, just from fiction, it seems like they go for more like brutal things or like manly things. Okay, so it is supposed to be him. Okay. And he's already calling her Miss Bomori. Okay. Bomori, it means the wife of the abbots. Okay. Also, this line feels very strange to me. Like, I don't know if they really call them abbots in Japan, do they? Because that feels like a very quintessentially English thing to me. And so combining that line with this one, like it feels very strange. It feels almost half translated in a weird way. Like either localize the whole thing or don't localize it at all. In which case I would say don't localize it because Bomori is an important word. Like the point is that you're not supposed to know what he meant. Oh, that feels real weird too. Like why is he proposing to her so soon? I know this is a romance series, but this reminds me so much of a lot of the shoujo series I read when I was super young. Like when I was young in like the early 2000s. So remember that. I read a lot of like Tokyo Pop romances, a lot of like early other manga, and just a lot of other just general romances, like romances aimed at teens or aimed at like I guess tweens. Like I don't think I ever read romances aimed at like kindergartners or anything. Is that a thing? Do those exist? I mean, I definitely read romances at that like when I was even younger than that, but they were never aimed at kids. And therefore I never like super got into them because they always felt a little like over the top. I could never really relate. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is this feels very much like the series knows there's supposed to be a romance here and they're jumping right to it. I could be wrong. He might have a really good reason for this, but I don't know. And the fact that he didn't come out and tell her about it and then heard of it, like, see, this is the vibe I was talking about. That early 2000s manga slash, um, like romance for teenagers feeling of, oh boy, this feels like it should be throwing up some red flags, but you're not supposed to see red flags because it's, it's meant to be romantic. That's, I don't know how to describe that specifically, but there's a very specific feel there that I feel is very, it's very like early shoujo. Man, he is really trying to go all the way. I mean, that's a good flex, though. That's an extremely good flex. I can bring happiness so I won't be beaten up. Your other boyfriends got beaten up because they are useless. Jeez. The big question, though, is like, is this real or not? Like, is she just an unlucky girl, or is there a supernatural thing going on? Because if there isn't anything supernatural going on, that makes this even creepier. If there is a supernatural thing, then it makes a little more sense because clearly, like, he knows what he's talking about. It's just he didn't fully explain it to her. I mean, yeah, if I were in her shoes, I'd probably feel the exact same way. This feels very strange. I am glad that the series does want you to feel like it's really strange. Okay, if you're in trouble, you better look for me. If not, you could be killed. So, I mean, now that he said that, it has to be really supernatural, right? It has to be. Jeez. Okay. So, yeah, 100% confirmed. Like, he can actually see, like, dark, evil spirits around. Though, that does bring up the question, like, it's a guardian spirit that was keeping her from, from being with guys. But then, why are the spirits there? Like, I guess what they're trying to say is that the the guys being beaten up was all the guardian spirits, but then all the other bad things that happen in her life are part of this, the dark spirits. But then why doesn't this, like, if this thing is so protective of her, why doesn't it just beat back the spirits? Okay, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I was trying to nitpick it, but no, that makes complete sense. Like the guardian spirit is like that's the reason why the flower pots fall, but they don't actually hit her, or why she nearly got hit by a car. Like the guardian spirit is trying its best. But oh man, again, it feels too fast, which is weird because I know, like, especially from the length of this could either be the first chapter or a one shot. And in a one shot, especially, like, you gotta get it done. You gotta do it. But something about the pace just feels too rushed to me. I guess it's not even the pace, it's the way that the characters are acting. It's the fact that she's being pressured to find love by her friends, and she's reaching out, she's trying to find love. She feels very vulnerable, but it feels like she doesn't really love him. It feels like she's just excited about the idea of falling in love. Like she's reaching out gently, hoping that he's legit, but it doesn't feel like she loves him back. And in the same way, like he's felt very manipulative. Part of it being that, there really are evil spirits, sure, but he doesn't feel like he has her best interests at heart. And he was so gung ho about getting married to her specifically, not even like dating her, but just getting married. That, I don't know, that weirds me out. I know what's gonna happen though. Like he's super tired. She just got exercised. She needs to be around him because she gets very easily like possessed. She might get repossessed. So they're going to go to bed together, and she's not going to beat him up. That's got to be it, right? Okay, okay. I'm okay with this. Like the transition here, I was about to be like, don't really like that. But I do appreciate the give and take. Like he is supposed to be too forward, and she is treating it normally. As long as whenever like he goes a bit too far, she does like she does hit him. She does like make it known that yeah, I don't want to do that. I think that's fair. You know, I feel really weird about saying this, but you know what? I do understand him here. He is that gung ho, but at the very least, he's willing to say like, okay, I get it. I get that you don't want exactly what I want. I just was projecting my feelings onto you. That expression is like a rebuked child. I sure hope she doesn't go back just to be like, oh no, I'm upset that you felt sad. Never mind, we can get married immediately. That would feel a bit fake to me. I mean, I get it. I get that she's gonna run over to him and confess, and then they're gonna hook up. But it feels like we're also building up to some sort of like spiritual thing. That's also very interesting. Like because the series so far has been very like traditionally shojo. I thought for sure the exorcism was going to be more of a like an actual humanoid thing, but this feels like just sort of pure evil in a way, or like pure malice. Like she's got moxie, she's got courage. I'll give her that because that bad spirit wants to hurt Yukimi. So okay, wait, did just the spirit disappear? Did she also disappear? I feel like they left that ambiguous. I mean, if I had to guess, I assume that they both like cancel each other out. Like, this line represents the guardian spirit, this dark one represents the evil spirits. And I guess that does make sense. Like that explains why her guardian spirit won't attack him anymore because she's gone. And it also gives them like a strong reason to constantly be together. Like she can be easily possessed, now she doesn't have anything protecting her, so he's going to have to start protecting her. Okay. What is this explanation though? He could see spirits since he was very young, so he was sent to the temple. I guess that must be why he craves the feeling of family so much. I can get that. Like, I don't like it very much. I do think that's a bad reason to want someone, like, because, they're filling in something that isn't just being themselves. It's not just you want to have a relationship with them. It's specifically you want to, like, you want to create a family with them to replace the fact that you yourself don't have a family. That's not bad per se. That's not like an evil thing to do, but it feels weird to me. That's an even better flex. Like before, he felt a little too cocky. This makes sense though. Like yeah, he's gonna commit to this. He's going to protect her forever. Let's go then to our heaven. Okay, so that was chapter 0. I'm gonna do a quick peek at the next chapter just to see like if the same characters are. Oh boy, what is that? Hmm? What is this? What is this supposed to be? Oh boy. Well then, I actually do not know what is supposed to be censored here. Like, this looks like it could be a face up here. This is clearly meant to be more of a face. But like the darkness here is so exaggerated. Like it looks like it's supposed to be like a person cradling another person, but then that wouldn't be sexual. Like that wouldn't be a thing that you would censor. So I don't know. Let's go a little okay, so yes. So the two of them are still here, they're still together. So this is the start of Tsuiteru Kanojo as we know it. But the one shot is like it is the start. It is actually Tsuiteru Kanojo as well, even if it doesn't have the name Tsuiteru Kanojo. Okay, so in that case, I will see because it's so short. I probably would pick this up and read it on the channel just because like it would be a nice one shot thing to do, or not one shot, but it'd be a nice one volume thing. But in terms of the actual content of it, it felt very average. Like, it's average enough that I wouldn't be upset with reading it. Oh, it's a Josei manga. I could have sworn it would have been a shoujo. Like, because it also, like, whenever I've read Josei, I don't read a lot of Josei. Josei is a very underrated, like, genre in general. But usually I think of josei manga as being more like close to reality. It doesn't have that shoujo optimism and that shoujo speed almost of like, hey, this is a fantasy, so don't worry about this and that. We're gonna just do the thing. Whereas this felt very much like, don't worry about anything. We're gonna just do the fantasy. That said, I do feel a bit like biased against it, so I don't think I'm like I probably will read it on the channel. However, it's not as good as anything else I would read on the channel. It's more of just a I guess I might. Anyways, let's move on. Hopefully this one is not I don't know. I feel like also because they're all like romance series with a bit of comedy, I think after I read this, I might be able to explain my thoughts on this one a bit more. So let's get ready for chapter 1 of Tsuiteru Kanojo. And this one also does not start with chapter 1. It starts with volume 1, chapter 0, Prelude. So, gonna do that first. I mean, because it says prelude, I'm 100% sure, like, unlike the previous Tsuiteru Kanojo, this has to be, like, it has to be canon, right? Because it's a prelude. Oof, I am not a fan of these faces, though. It's mostly the eyes. The eyes look so, ugh. The art style isn't that bad though. Like the perspective is a bit weird, but the colors seem okay. The print here is nice. Like I do appreciate that it's not like pasted on. There is like a nice bit of weight to it. It doesn't fold a lot, but it feels like, it does follow the folds properly. Okay, I like this a lot better actually. This was oof. This was but this looks more normal and like his eyes look fine. I guess it's too early to say anything about hers because they're closed. But okay. I'm into this. Okay. This girl actually has a much better design. Like this girl, not that interesting. This girl, like especially what are those even? Like they're not French braids. What are those braids called? Uh we used to call them like what was it again? It was a type of tail. Because but what tail was it? Anyways, like that weave looks really nice. And especially the fact that she has two of them, so like they mirror each other, and her face also looks very, very symmetrical. Like it's a good design. I like it. Okay, okay. Not gonna lie, very into this. How much of this is actually legit? I don't know. I mean, the fact that he's worried about it and like that makes me feel like maybe these are real ears. Actually, no, no, no. Never mind. I just noticed that. So this is clearly meant to be a like a headband, but they also have tails. And you know me, I like my ears and my tails. Also, the fact that the three of them are together means that maybe we're doing a love triangle. Again, not super into love triangles, but I mean, the last thing I read was not a love triangle. It was just a straight up romance, and it wasn't that great. So I'd be okay if this is a love triangle. Sure, let's give it a shot. Something bad will happen to you very soon. You'd best be careful. Okay. Oh boy, this does not look good. Not the art style, I should say. Like from what I've seen of the art style, it looks fine. It's just the leveling. The leveling here looks really bad. Like so much detail has been washed away. There's no way that this is what the artist actually drew. Ugh. Like this also like the color pages also look a bit washed out, but I was like because of all the light here, like because it feels like there's beaming light here, like there's clearly a source of light over there. And then this is all white background, and then over here, like even this, it's very shiny. Like I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's supposed to just be super bright. But this doesn't feel like super bright. This just feels washed out. But I mean, is this another supernatural Tsuiteru Kanojo? Like does Tsuiteru Kanojo have a like supernatural meaning to it that I don't know? Hmm. Okay, so that's their dynamic. They're kind of childhood friends, sort of. That's cool though. And like I like her design a lot more when it's non-color actually. Like, especially the little fang there. She does have this like cute spunkiness to her that I think is cool. The guy is very average, extremely average, but that's par for the course. I read a lot of series with very average dudes in it, which I would rather not do. I'd rather read series with very standout dudes, but you know how it is. Self-inserts can't be awesome. They can't be super sexy. They gotta be average. Oh, okay, okay. They are two different dogs. Like because we saw a dog barking and then we saw another dog attacking. I assumed it was like I thought it was the same dog, but somehow it like teleported away from the fence. But no. Okay, so yeah, something bad happened. All right. So I assume he's haunted again, like the other Tsuiteru Kanojo, or either haunted or like possessed. I see the spirit of a puppy that was run over by a car. Okay. Oh boy, what's happening? I mean, I guess she's gonna exercise this puppy. Yep, there we are. Boy, that puppy has so much shading on it. Which usually I think that look like it'd make it look extra good. It might actually make it feel like it has fur. But again, with this leveling, especially this, like this texture here looks oof, not good, not good. Uh like if you've ever read DeadTube, which I don't know if this has a large like crossover demographic with DeadTube, probably not. In my early DeadTube reactions, I had this like I generally don't care that much about cleaning, but especially when it's like this extreme. DeadTube was okay because it has a lot of very inky blacks, and so whatever like process they were using made the inky blacks even inkier. So you only really noticed it like sometimes, but when you noticed it, it looked awful. It looked like they were always walking on sand. So, hmm. Not good cleaning. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Yeah, it is like yipping weakly, and it was also hit by a car, so but I mean, what else do you do? Okay. And yeah, you can't even just live with it. If that happens, yeah, the spirit will become malevolent. If that happens, it'll lose all reason and indiscriminately attack nearby girls. Wait, why nearby girls? Okay, so what are they doing? If I let it possess my body so that it can fulfill whatever it still desires to do, then it should be able to pass on and find peace. Okay. Oh my god, I just realized. I actually just realized. It took me so long to catch on. This. So, I guess, I mean, maybe it's a metaphorical thing, but I assume because they all have the ears. Like, the puppy, first of all, this feels like it's going to be like a one shot mission thing, but I guess not. I guess the puppy's going to stick around. And then maybe it possesses all of them, like either all at once or just one at a time. And then, this is just seeing all of them in their puppy forms together. I mean, like, also, this is like clearly this is meant to be kind of a lewd shot, and I was wondering, well, why? Like, usually when this kind of thing happens, you're not supposed to question it. But if they're all supposed to be like as innocent as a puppy, maybe, then she's doing it. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She's letting it happen. She doesn't really realize what's happening, and then he's just confused. He's like, "What's going on? Why do I feel like I have ears?" Or ears on top of my head, or why do I feel like I have 4 ears? Okay, I think that's what we're doing. Huh, I wonder then. Like, this is a cool setup for the series. I assume it is going to be. I don't know. Like, let's see how this goes before I start trying to come up with a formula. Like, especially because if it's always this puppy, then I guess we could have this long journey of finding whatever this puppy wants to do. But if there are multiple things, or if this is just the first arc, then I guess they could do it with other animals or other dogs. Maybe just dogs. Oh, that's so good. I love that. Like we've never seen her eyes before this moment. That's such a good transition, and she's so like cold and standoffish. Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay. Okay, so they got his name, and like the possessing spirit can speak normally like a normal person while they're inhabiting a human body. That's cool. Oh gosh, she looks so cute. Like it is bonkers how cute she looks. Like just with this change of personality. I wonder if the color page is supposed to be more of a metaphor then, because like maybe, but I feel like part of the gimmick. Actually, it depends. Again, like if it's just this one puppy for the entire series, then sure. Like maybe it'll just be bouncing around because she can't be possessed all the time. It's too exhausting. But like if we do multiple animals over the course of the series, then I could see a situation where they're like, okay, well, I'm going to unlock your possession capabilities. And then, we could have something where like the childhood friend gets possessed by a very mean or standoffish animal, or the boy gets possessed by, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't really have a personality yet. I mean, is that how that works? Because Yeah, sure, a dog, but a dog possessing a human body. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good joke. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are just getting kinkier and kinkier with this. But I mean, the logic here is not wrong. Yeah, sure. Here, take this, master. Oh boy. Gosh, that is so extremely kinky. Oh yeah, and her tail is like lifting up her skirt too. Boy, oh boy, that's extra lewd. That is unbelievably lewd. Boy, oh boy. Um, man, we are just. I mean, again, I don't know what demographic this was aimed at, but this panel especially is a bit much. Yeah, like we don't know how long it's been. We don't even know how old like that dog's master is. It's completely possible that it's like, the dog of like some dude in his 50s now. Like we have no idea. Oh, okay, that even played back into it. Like the fact that he looks like Nagasawa's son, the former owner. God, she is so cute. It's unbearable. It's legit unbearable. Wait a minute. Did Oh yeah, yeah, we did see her eating croquettes. Okay, so fair enough. Oh, I am glad that she didn't immediately end up with our main character. That would have been a bit weird. Also, like, I guess her parents probably know that she can be possessed by spirits, and that's why they wouldn't freak out over this. Because otherwise, it'd be pretty weird to just have your young, like, grade school daughter just disappear. Like that feels a bit terrifying. I will say this manga knows how to do like very cute moments very quickly, or like very cute montages, especially in like, even though this is a long chapter, because it's a prologue, because it's supposed to feel more like a one shot, I assume. You need to do stuff like really quickly, but you also need to do lots of stuff. Like that's one of my main problems I had with the first Tsuiteru Kanojo. Like I felt like not a lot happened. It was a very short amount of time where a lot of like big emotions flew real fast. And because of that, it didn't feel real to me. Whereas this, even though it's a much more outlandish premise, this feels more real to me because like I'm attached to this dog now. Like we've seen this dog do so many cute things. Like I've grown attached to it, and I've also grown attached to the medium girl. Even though we haven't really seen anything from her, we've seen her body do cute things. Therefore, I like her. And then we've seen the other two just being kind, putting up with all of this. Like even regardless of how many pages they spent on it, it feels like enough time has passed. And because of that, I personally feel like I've spent a lot of time with this, even if I haven't. Oh boy, this page is definitely signifying that something bad's gonna happen, but I don't know what. I mean, so far this has been relatively lighthearted, dead puppy aside. So I can't imagine it's going to be anything too. Oh, actually, you know what it is? It's gonna be that he has a new pet now. Maybe a dog, maybe not, but it's gonna be that feeling of, oh no, I've been replaced. Yep, yep. Knew it. Absolutely knew it. Oh, okay. I was not expecting that though. Like, it wasn't the dog that was, mad about it. It was like specifically, it was our other girl who is so like empathetic and energetic that of course she would be the one to run over and tell a random kid like, "Hey, guess what? I can't believe you moved on from your dead dog. Look at this other girl. Look at this girl that's my age. She's your dead dog." Like that would have oof, that would have been bad. And in any other situation, I'd feel bad about this. Like, I mean, I do still feel bad, but I mean, it's not a living dog. It's the spirit of a dog. Of course he can't do anything here. Like, the only thing he can do now is know that his master is, happy, that he's safe, and then pass on. This is a cool effect. Like, we're getting that blurry zoom in to show, like, yep, ears are disappearing, the tail's disappearing. It's a cool effect. And immediately we don't get to see your eyes again. If the others get possessed, though, I wonder what will change with them. Because they don't each have a unique thing that would change, apart from their hairstyles, I guess. But like in that first color page, we did see them with these hairstyles. So I highly doubt it's going to be that. The last thing he said was, "Thank you." Aww. And again, main character Kun, not really interesting. Very, very much cookie cutter. Whereas this girl, like, I don't remember her name, but she's really grown on me. Like the fact that she's so empathetic, she is beyond normal levels of empathy. I really like. I think that makes her so much more interesting than she could have been, especially with the last few pages. Like because she's so explosively emotional. She's also just a good contrast with the other girl, who we know isn't very emotional unless she's possessed. Mm. When something dies, I wonder if it's really all over. Okay, come on. Redeem yourself. As long as someone remembers, it's never over. Okay, fair ending. Again, this would feel a little more impactful if these clouds looked good, which I'm sure they do in the original. Like, I try not to rag on manga for like bad scans, just because like that's not the mangaka's fault. The mangaka made something good. The way it's presented to me is not the way they meant to present it. So but still, I mean, I can only talk about what I could see. Tsuiteru Kanojo is a story about precious things and coping with their loss. One day I would like to share with you all why it is I felt this manga was something I had to share with everyone. Huh. Okay, that's really interesting because like up until this point, I thought that this was read like I thought this was done by the author because it feels like something an author would put at the very end of their first chapter. But it feels like this was done instead by the scanlators. But then again, there's this new art, like this unique art that I assume was like from something. I mean, to be fair, I guess this might be something else. I don't know. Where are they getting this art from? I highly doubt they drew it themselves. But like in that case, did they just like erase a author note and then like just put in their own notes? Is this an author note that they just put like a thank you for reading from us thing below with? No, they wouldn't do that because then it wouldn't be an author notes. So this can't be an author notes. Huh. That said, like the fact that this group wanted to do this, the fact that this group was willing, or like at least someone from the group was willing to like type this thing out to explain, like, hey, here's the feeling of the series. This is a thing I want to give to you. This is something I want people to read. Like because of that sentiment, I'm definitely like even more into this than I already was. Like clearly the people who worked on it, even though I ragged on them for the scan quality, like they wanted this to come out. They wanted this to be good. They wanted people to read it. And honestly, I'm fine with, scans that aren't the best. This might be a bit rough, but still. Hmm. Do we have a first cover for this? No, it doesn't look like it's. I assume the first cover would have, or actually, was that in Prelude? I didn't. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So this is the first cover. So fair enough. First cover, main girl. Second cover, other girl. And even this, maybe because of this pose, it feels like because how do I put this? Just in order to balance things out, I assume this would be a cover that is just the main character and this girl. It's just even it out since the first one was him, and the other girl. But because of this pose, it makes me feel like maybe the other girl is there, just on the part we can't see. Well, that was really cool, really interesting. I am into it. I want to read more. Like the first one, I'm reevaluating that because like I might read it on the channel, but I don't know if I really want to read it. Like with this one, I was saying like, oh, it's not that much. It's just a couple more chapters. I could do it. With this, I do actively want to read more. Like the concept is good. The execution was good. I like two of the three characters at this point. Like it is good. I also just have a fondness for animals in general. So if we're gonna do this like repeatedly, if it's going to be an animal every time, I would be very into that. Uh, so I'm gonna give this a definite read on the channel, also a definite recommend. I liked it. I really liked the first chapter of this. All right, we have one less Tsuiteru Kanojo, and that is Tsuiteru Kanojo with a period at the end. So this one translates it as "lucky girl." I could just Google Translate this now that I think about it. Um, Twister she rests. Twister she. Um, let's just translate it. Twistle her. Tsuiteru Kanojo. Is there another translation? Because this does not seem like a proper translation. There are multiple versions of this. Like, let's see what this one translates to, if it's the exact same thing. Because clearly that's not correct. Like, twistle is not a word. Okay, so this one was Tsuiteru Kanojo, which is she is. Uh, don't know if that really sums up this series at all. Definitely does not translate to inspired sweethearts. This one was. Was this the one I just translated? This is Tsuyoru Kanojo. Didn't even translate the Kanojo parts, but it's like Sui, then Teru Kanojo as one word. And then this third one was, yeah. But of these, we have Inspired Sweetheart and Lucky Girl as just alt names. I don't know where we're getting these alt names from, but whatever. I mean, Kanojo I know is girl, so Suiteru I suppose is just the weird part. It's the part that we're really getting hung up on. Okay. So I translated the Chinese for this third one, and it translated to girlfriend with a child. Does the same thing happen with this one? Like, this definitely seems like different kanji. Inspirational sweethearts. Okay, that actually fits really well with this, inspired sweethearts. And then this one, ghostly lover. Okay. Okay. So then again, I don't know if these are like, are these meant to be translations of Suiteru Kanojo, or are these just different names that these had in China? Because I will say, these do fit a lot better. Like, this is, I mean, I don't know if I'd call this inspired sweetheart, actually. Never mind, that's wrong. I don't know what that means. Like, neither of them were really inspired. But this one, like, ghostly lover. Even that, like, I guess, a lover that channels ghosts. That makes sense, I suppose. This one, though, like, lover with a child. That's the big question. I don't know. I don't know. It does make sense though. Like of the three, this one definitely has the clearest like translation, the clearest meaning. So I assume this is going to be about a girlfriend with a child. Seinen, ecchi. This one was a shonen, which is kind of weird. Like if we're going to do the mission thing every time of there's a thing to do, that feels very shonen. Whereas the original Suiteru Kanojo felt very like it felt very shoujo. Did not feel josei at all. This one's actually a seinen, which is interesting. I mean, girlfriend with a child does feel like a very like adult thing to talk about. So sure, let's give it a shot. An ordinary me with an unordinary love will begin. Very can't really read anything from it, I guess. Does look pretty though. Like so far, the art looks like the best of the three. Okay. So I don't know. Is that a girlfriend? Is that how you get a girlfriend? Does this old man just hook people up? Though to be fair, I do know that people do hook up at bars and stuff when they're drinking, so maybe. Okay, so she's clumsy. Fair enough. Her balls are huge. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I mean, this could be a bad translation, but actually, I do see the bulge there, so maybe. And she did go nyan. Um, you know what they say about cat girls? They're all trans. I don't think that's a Japanese thing. I'm pretty sure that's just like an American thing. Okay. So she's got the looks of a normal woman and the important parts too. During the growth process, the male parts also grew. So she's a hermaphrodite. She's a futanari. Oh, her name is Futaba. That explains it. Okay, that's interesting though. Like, I'm curious to see how the series will take it. This isn't a deal breaker by any means, but like, I've read a lot of series about trans people, and I've read a lot of series about cross dressers, and I'm very used to those. And like the way they're done well, the ways they're done badly. I can't say I've ever or I can't say I've read many series about like futanari that aren't smuts. Which I guess this is technically smut. Like it was ecchi, but I mean like I've seen futanari. I've seen like hentai of it. but I've never actually like read a normal series that is just about a hermaphrodite. I suppose I should just call her a hermaphrodite because that's what they used here. But okay, so he knew before they were magically hooked up by old man section appeal boss. So okay, I'm so jealous. That's a power move. That's a power move. Ah, fair enough. Yeah. Can't go swimming, can't go to the shower. Like, it would just be difficult to explain, especially if this isn't a normal thing in this world. Like, if it's similar to our world, where hermaphrodites do exist, but they're extremely rare, then okay. Mm, honestly, kind of disappointed in this. Like, the fact that she is bi. Not that bi people are bad, not in the slightest. But I was how do I put this? I feel like a character that is like walking between worlds, whether it's someone who is actually like changing genders. I've read a lot of series about that, or someone who is just a cross dresser, or someone who is trans. Like with all of those, I feel like being bi is the easiest thing to do because it means that this character can be attracted to both genders. This character can, do a bunch of different gags, and obviously that's why they're doing this here because this is a good gag and it opens up the possibility for a lot of other funny situations in the future. But I just think like in terms of drama, and I guess the point is that this isn't meant to be dramatic. But for like a drama series, I would like to see a drama series that is about like a futanari, but they are attracted to just one type of person. Preferably guys. Like preferably someone who looks like a girl with a wiener who is only attracted to guys. Like I think the dynamic of that is more interesting than someone who likes both. Even though like I think it's fine to like both. It's just like that's it's the best of both worlds, and the best of both worlds, like just any positive usually in a series makes it harder to write interesting things about it. You still can, absolutely. You can do a perfectly wholesome series where there are very few if any problems, but it's not as interesting or not as immediately interesting as having a big problem or a big secret or something. But I'm fine with this. Like I might be judging this a bit too harshly right at the very start. I do understand that though. Like yeah, you can really only have this conversation with him. So, okay. That said, like, I wouldn't go somewhere like here for a swimsuits that would do that. Like, there are specialty sites. I've definitely looked at those. You can definitely find, like very feminine, very ladylike, swimsuits and just clothing in general that is designed so that it doesn't accentuate that area, or it helps you tuck, or it helps you, do whatever. But like stuff that isn't made for anything down there is going to be difficult, just by the very nature of it. Take a look, people. That's my girlfriend. Okay, what did she choose? Hey, that's cute. That's actually that's actually really smart now that I think about it. Because like if she wore something very covering, which is what I assumed she was going to wear something like extra super duper covering, but that would actually make it weirder. Like it would feel like she was hiding something. It might get the other girls, to want to mess with her. Or yeah, like, not in a mean way, but just in a like, hey, I want to push your boundaries a bit. Whereas this feels like it shows off everything, but crucially, it's got the skirt at the bottom that can hide everything. So like it doesn't feel like she's hiding anything. Therefore, you wouldn't even think to look. You wouldn't even think about it. It'd be fine. Genius, genius. Ah, okay, that's a problem. So in this situation, I would Okay, so there are multiple options. I've explored some of these myself, not for this particular situation, but in general. I mean, if you watch this channel, you know an interesting guy. So main options. First one, most obvious one would be a tuck, like just have it go down, like have it go around, you know, like curled, and that keeps everything out of the way. It creates very little space. It can slip out, but, like, if you use tape or something, if you just, make sure it stays there, that's fine. If you wear, like, really tight underwear too, that can also help, like, keep it all in one place. Option number 2 would be, to do something more like this. And then that has the skirts like hold it in place. The main problem there is it can cause a very large bulge, but also it changes the shape of it. Like it doesn't create that clearly obvious shape that you might be expecting. It just looks like there's like a weird bit of water trapped there or something like that. Apart from that, like those are the two mainstays. Uh, Honestly, I would probably just go with tucking. Like, it does hurt. It is difficult. It's embarrassing at times. Like, it feels weird if you're not used to it, but I feel like it's the safest thing to do. Actually, I didn't realize she was implying that. But yeah, yeah, that does make sense. Like, not just for the sake of like, hey, you should try it on, but also like he has the right equipment. He can figure out like, hey, what will work and what won't. It is pretty awkward because they're in a girl's boutique and he's clearly trying the stuff on, but still. And I do think like I'm giving him props for doing it. They don't have the same like body type though, which is a problem. Like clearly, like this probably is fitting very weakly. This is definitely not going to fit, but still, yeah. The swimsuit and the second layer seem to keep it from jutting out. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Like, even though it is a weird situation, even though it is like this panel is clearly meant to be comedic, at the same time, he is trying to give like legit advice to her. Let's go with this one because it looks especially cute and good on you. So that was a lie, but for what purpose? I mean, first of all, it feels weird at all that, one of their first things to do like on a date would be something that is just straight up a lie. I mean, maybe it's just she wanted to shop with him. Maybe that's the only thing I think of is she wanted to shop with him, but she didn't need to buy anything, so she just needed to come up with an excuse. Yeah, take that off. This is gonna look real weird. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, hard to explain this. Really hard to explain this. He probably can't ever come to this store again, but well, what can you do? Uh, I mean, based on this expression, it doesn't seem like this is like it is a comedic moment, but again, it feels like she's taking this a bit more seriously. Like, oh man, I'm sorry, I can't believe I made him do that. That said, this is a bit of a leap of logic. There's no way she meant I was lying when I said I liked you. No way. But why would she lie about going to the beach? It has to be just I wanted to spend some time with you, but I didn't have a reason, so I just made something up on the spot. No, stop. Stop. Okay, come on, please, please, please. We only have a couple more pages left. Oh wow, this isn't even like a super long chapter. Like it's 27 pages. So I guess it is long if this is a weekly series, but like all the other first chapters I've looked at today have been like 50 pages long. So this feels a lot shorter than otherwise. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like I've been in that situation very recently of like I don't want to have like a big rushed talk. I don't want to have a talk where like we might misunderstand each other. So let's do it slow. Let's do it somewhere else. Let's do it in a time where we can just, fully explore this concept. But okay, please, please, please clear up this miscommunication. Hmm? Hot spring tickets. Okay. Hmm. That okay, that's not what I expected, but that's actually really cool. Like, not just because like, how do I put this? It was bad that she was lying, but because of Japanese work culture, I get it. Like, I get the idea that she didn't want to, like, invite him on a date at first. So instead, she framed it as like, "Hey, I need your help for something." And then, oh, that also, like, like, I remembered this scene. Like, yeah, clearly she's going to remember this. Let's go with this one because it looks especially cute and good on you. But that means so much more, like and that's also why she then came up with the idea of, this is a lie. Like, it's because, specifically, she wanted something that he would like. So, of course, she would take him with her and, have him pick out exactly what he likes. Like, even that, like, oh my god, in hindsight, that makes so much sense. Like, he was focusing too hard on the lie, on hiding it when, she wanted to change the conversation away from that. Like, she understood that, hey, you're choosing it because you think it looks good on me. In that case, why do we have this false pretense? Let's not do that anymore. Aww. One day, one of these days, please take my virginity. I mean, she has both though, so I don't know. I don't think that you're in that much danger. Maybe a little, maybe a tiny bit, but whatever. I mean, if you want to give, you got to be willing to take, right? Okay, yeah, I do think this is a better translation than this. Because like why would he be thinking that? Why would he be like, yeah, although I have to go for a butt? Because like he said specifically she has both, right? She does have both. So, like, why would he be thinking about that? And also, like, the fear here. Like, this doesn't make any sense because why would he be afraid of doing that? This makes more sense because, he's freaking out a little bit because of this idea of like, oh boy, he took it the wrong way. Okay, overall, really, really good chapter. I it's the longest one, and I kind of hope this wasn't the one that someone recommended as like, hey, this is definitely a good fit for your channel, just because I feel like it says something weird about my channel. It's a strange place to take my channel, but at the same time, they're not wrong. Like I have done some manga about actual trans people. I'm clearly LGBT friendly, and while this isn't LGBT, like it's a topic that I am super interested in. Like I like the idea of reading a series that is about Futanari that is not like that doesn't treat her as if it's just a sexy thing. Like one that actually kind of delves into the problems that she might face or the general like relationship dynamic. Plus, they're already hooking up. Like the original, I keep on saying the original. What I mean is the first Tsuiteru Kanojo. I mean, clearly they were going for a romance. They were going for an actual marriage, so they were committed. But it didn't feel right to me. It felt very mechanical. It felt very much like, oh yeah, these are all the pieces, and then the reader is supposed to believe that these two are truly in love. But the series didn't make me feel that. Whereas this Tsuiteru Kanojo, it didn't really have a romantic feeling to me at all, which is fine. Like because as you can see from the tags, it's trying to do more than just a rom com. Like we had the drama, we had the comedy, we had the etchy, we had the slice of life, and a bit of tragedy there too. Like it was juggling all those things. If it's going to do more of a romance thing in the future, I'm willing to wait for that. And even if it doesn't, even if it is like a bad slash middling romance, but it's mostly just like spirit stuff, that'd be fine with me. Like what chapter 0 was good. If it can do chapter 0 but more so and better, then I'll be completely happy with the series. Whereas this one, Tsuiteru Kanojo with a period, this felt really good. This felt like an actual romance series. It had exactly what I wanted. There is a gimmick, but at the same time, the gimmick does not it doesn't overflow. It doesn't take over the entire series. It did come up, a couple times. Sure, it's the first chapter. It is also a big thing, of course, but it felt less intrusive actually than the spirit stuff in this Tsuiteru Kanojo, which is insane because this chapter is so long. Like it is a one shot. It is like 55 pages. Yet I felt, oh boy, I felt way more invested in this Tsuiteru Kanojo. Overall, first Tsuiteru Kanojo, I mean, I guess I'll pick it up. Sure, it's one reaction's worth of pages, and I do want to, I'm interested enough in it. It's an okay premise. I want to see how they commit to it. I could just read it on my own, but there's no reason not to. Like, just read it on the channel real quick. This Tsuiteru Kanojo, also, I'll do it. I like the animal stuff. I don't really care about the romance, but also the romance wasn't really a part of it. It really was just we saw this girl and we saw the other girl, the childhood friends, and those two had good personalities. I liked them. Also, there's a separate author and artist to this, which is interesting. Like in general, I like series that have separate authors and artists. I feel like that allows the artists to focus on the art. It allows the author to focus on the like writing. That doesn't mean they're always good, but they have a good track record. It's also just closer to Western comics, which is what I'm usually used to. And third Suichiro Kanojo, I liked it. Obviously, I did, and the gimmick is something that I'm like excited about. I want to read this. I want to see how the series will deal with it. Plus, it has two sequels, one of which is an H sequel. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall, Suiteru Kanojo, good, middling, good, really good. I liked all of them. Thank you, whoever suggested Tsuiteru Kanojo, and thank you very much for not specifying which Tsuiteru Kanojo. This video would not have existed otherwise. Thank you all so very much for watching. This was an extremely strange video. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this. I don't think. Does this have appeal? Does anyone want to read this? Or does anyone want to watch this? In any case, thank you very much. I will be reading more things. Probably not going to be as memey about the other ones. Like, I have gone for like a general, like, hey, here's the thing that unites all these things before, but that's not a necessary thing. Like, the next 2 videos I'm going to do are going to be just more like a friend of mine suggested some series, and I want to do all of those series as 2 episodes of chapter ones. So there doesn't have to be like a defining thing for your recommendations. Just recommend whatever you want. I do want to say, as of right now, as of like May 2019, I'm not really looking for edgy series. So if you want to submit something very like dark and gritty, you can. Just know that like I'm not looking for another dead tube, for instance. I know a lot of people have enjoyed my dead tube reactions. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do them. I'm still going to do them as dead tube comes out, but I'm trying to move away from that edgy stuff. So recommend whatever you want, honestly. Also, no Shueisha series. If it's published by Shueisha in Japan, I'm not going to read it. That's a thing for the channel. The channel is not safe if I put a Shueisha series out, or if I put more Shueisha series out. Anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.